Alrighty. Get this mic turned in. Yeah, I'm still waiting on my coffee. Almost. I could go without it, but I teach a much better class with my coffee ready. Hello to everybody out there in the crowd. I think I see what Shadow Band is in San Antonio. What are you doing in San Antonio, sir? And I see Choosy is in the building. All right. Funny that mic is really good. It's like I can hear my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll start off. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to our Heavenly Father Yahweh. We do so in the name of His Son, Guy, which the world knows, the masses know as Jesus Christ. Here with my brother Fuzz, Ephraim, and tonight we have a very interesting topic, a topic which I've been building up to for quite a while, whether people have known it or not. I've been laying out a case for this, and so we are going to get into it. Um, so the name of this topic, or the name of this show, who is Esau, and why, does it matter? Anybody in the audience, first before we even get into it, can you guys tell me why it would matter? And if you know the story of Esau, who Esau is, can we get a one in the chat? If you know who Esau is, what this is talking about at all. Okay. So,
It's a long shot.
and if you don't know, that's okay. If there's nobody quite in here yet, that's okay also. In fact, I'm gonna put this out to one other location, giving people a little bit of time to get in here. Make sure I have it. Put it out to Facebook also. Because I got the feeling that this will probably be, since for some of our people it's a little bit later, this might be one of those shows which they'll probably catch the second time around. Um, I know, granted, we were still going through, why people leave the black church. I feel like we can always pick that one back up, but um, with a lot of different things that have been going on, the spirit has been put upon me and Fuzz to actually go into this lesson and uh, start teaching this for the meantime, and then we'll hit back up some other subjects. But I feel like in order for us to explain out prophecy more and more, and I'm not sure if everybody has seen um, our interview where we went on Doom and Gloom headquarters, where we went in more detail and were asked a bunch of different questions, um, and we kind of laid it out kind of in a quick manner. In case you guys didn't get that, I feel like we can actually take our time and explain it out even better here. So I realize this video is probably going to be more for people later on. So uh, bear with us. Let me put this out real quick from two more places. Fellas, how are we doing today, sir?
Doing all right. Can't really complain. What about you, sir?
I am doing all right. Uh, let's see, Choosy. How are we doing, Choosy? You still there? We have somebody watching. Just not sure who it is. Well, and I'm gonna do this one last message, and then we'll get going. I want to put it at least on my Discord.
If anybody is interested in watching the doom and gloom version of the podcast, the podcast that we did with Ali, going over prophecies being tied to world events, it is in the chats.
Oh, you put it in the chat? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
You putting that much sugar into your coffee?
Yeah, I'm gonna put all this in. I forgot I muted you. Didn't turn my camera off. There we go. All right, so let's go on ahead and get started. So, Fuzz, going ahead and let's go to the birth of Esau. Let's get straight to it for time's sake. There is quite a lot to get into.
Yes, sir. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, and I will start at verse 21.
Okay.
And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so,
Here, let's skip ahead. Let's get down to the actual birth.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a lot of scriptures.
Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
Okay, so that is the birth of Esau. Esau, that's one description. Esau. We're going to come back to this verse. So let's skip ahead to when the boys are a little bit older, and actually no, continue with that because then it's going to a couple of things.
Verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
All right, stop right there. This is what we want to focus on right quick. I want you guys to keep this in here. Whoever's in here watching this now, remember this is Genesis 25 and 27. Can you read it one more time so we can focus on this? Because this is giving traits of Esau. A lot of people will focus on phenotype. Genesis 25. We will come back to that again. But for intensive purposes, I want to focus on characteristics and tendencies so that you can kind of keep in mind who Esau actually is, what are the traits of his personality, all those things like that that can help figure out who this man of mystery is or this nation of mystery. So let's read it one more time.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents.
Okay. Now let's continue going ahead with 28.
And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob.
So the father loves Esau, the mother loves Jacob, the younger brother, the twin. Going ahead to 29.
And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
So now let's go in and establish this. Esau is his name. Edom is his nation. So let's continue because one thing. Well, hold on a second. A lot of times, biblical nations, they start with an individual, and so we want to keep this in mind. The Cushites get the name from the man Cush. Canaanites get the name from the man Canaan. Israelites get the name from Israel later on. Do you know what time it is, Marcus, in the East? Yeah, it's what is it, 10:40 over there? Yeah, I guess
10:53.
What time is it?
10:53. That's what I got here.
A little late. That's why I figure people will probably catch this later on. I will try not to make it too long so that people will be able to come back to it and catch it later. And then more than likely, Fuzz, if you're available, Friday night.
It should be. Yeah, I will.
If you're available Friday night, then we could do it. We can make a part 2 to this Friday night, so it's not. So this one doesn't go as long because there's a lot to get to for me to establish this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fine. Just joke. Oh, good. I'm glad you're here, Yipper. And I guess I'll start off in asking, do you know who Esau is? Are you familiar with Esau at all, biblically? Because if not, you got it at the perfect time. We are starting to explain who Esau is, and we're going to go into the relevance of why Esau is important. Actually, I guess I'll go ahead and kind of spoil this here. The reason why it's important to understand who Esau is, just like it's important to understand who everybody's biblical identity is because if you can understand biblical identities, then you can start to understand prophecy. And then it starts to prove to you what the Bible's really talking about. That's why this is very, very important.
If you really want to spoil, then do you want a teaser with Second Esdras?
We'll get there. We're going to skip to that next, but I just want to establish out. So, Yipper, which part did you get? Did you hear about Esau? We started off actually since we got Yipper in here. Let's go ahead and jump back to 25 real quick. 25.
All right. Genesis 25 and 25. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Okay, hold there. Mm-hmm. And we all know, like, when you have royal families, the firstborn is the one who gets the birthright, who inheritance goes to, correct? We all know that? All right, cool. So let's go ahead and skip to what was it? You hear those birds chirping outside?
Yep.
It's still not that late here yet. My apologies. Well, I guess it's almost 8 o'clock and they're still chirping. So I don't know, crazy birds. Let's go on ahead and skip to 27.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do a little bit more explaining because I want this focused on about these are traits of Esau, and then these are going to be traits of Jacob.
Verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the fields, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
So Esau's tendencies and his behavior. Esau is a hunter, cunning hunter. That means very, very smart, crafty, and a man of the field. That's going to come into play. Remember this, man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. Now, a lot of people will think that that means that, oh, well, he just likes to chill and he likes to hang out. What that means by dwelling in tents is he stays with his family. He is a family man. He stays in place in his land and he's dealing with the business of the family. Esau is out going everywhere, all over the field, out hunting, doing his own thing. But he's never staying at home. That's one thing to pay attention to. So let's continue.
Verse 28. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison. But Rebekah loved Jacob.
Yep. Keep going.
And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
So now, because of that red, his name is called Edom. For those who don't understand why that's significant is because one thing a lot of people don't realize about Hebrew is in the Hebrew, there's only one word for red. So like for us, we might say red, crimson, scarlet. We use all these other adjectives, which can be red. How they do it in Hebrew is you have to pay attention to the context it's used in to truly understand what they mean by red. There are times when, like for instance, Dom means blood. Dom, that's going into like blood and red and things like that. Adam being, a mixture of the ground, brown and red, giving to his phenotype. So the first man, of course, which I don't know if people have seen before. Have we seen that before? The first man, Adam. Let's pull that up. Actually, no, we don't need to pull that up. Unless you guys want me to, let me know in the chat, Yipper, if you want me to pull that up. But yeah, Fuzz, I want you to continue with going ahead and go to continue reading down to 32. Actually, yeah, I'll stop you wherever. Just going ahead through the story.
And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright.
So right here, we are getting that Esau is literally selling his firstborn status and his birthright right now. This is a very significant thing, which is not emphasized on nearly enough in the churches. So let's go on ahead and continue. Actually, while you're reading that, I'll try to see if I can pull up Adam.
Verse 32. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? So I want to throw in here that already this is one characteristic of Esau is he's looking for profit. He already has a birthright that's like set aside specifically for him, and yet he's always just like, what do I get out of this? Like, what's in it for me? Like a greedy tendency. from what I see here. That in my earliest days of the truth, that's what stuck out to me.
Well, I would lean more to how I see it as more ignorant, not realizing what he's giving up, and So I mean, going ahead, keep going. So we're at the point he's selling his birthright, and we got to and let's reestablish real quick this birthright, which he has given up, is basically an inheritance from God. Now at this point, it still hasn't profited out to where it's going to be. But imagine like if somebody went back in time and they gave you early stock to Twitter. Now, you're not reaping the benefits of it right now, but if you just wait a little bit, you're going to start reaping the benefits, and your family throughout the generations are going to reap this benefit. That's why it's so important to keep this birthright, because just like how royal families go, if it goes down through this brother or that brother, now it goes down his succession of his descendants. So let's go ahead and continue. Oh yeah, hold on a second. Let me show this real quick. This is what National Geographic's pulled up as to Adam. Let's see. Let's see if I can click on one of these. Visit. I don't know why it showed this one. You hear my neighbor's dog, Cookie. Cookie, be quiet.
Hi, Cookie.
Yeah, Cookie won't stop. Let me get to the action. There we go. Full screen. Stop buffering. Oh. All right, now we see that. That's what National Geographic has come up with for. Oh crap! You guys didn't see any of that. Damn it! I had the wrong screen up. Let me stop sharing that one and share the other one. Dang it! Dang it! Dang it! I thought you guys were watching the same video I was. Let me pull it over. Okay, after National Geographic did it for 2 years, some other parts. I looked at the Nefertiti thing. The difference is they didn't do it with DNA coding, and I know which one you're talking about. That one was old. This one they actually. So here, listen to this.
And hundreds of years after Michelangelo, we have a whole new face for Adam.
I like the expression. It's got a very forceful look.
Let me back it up.
Suggest he go. We can't know for sure what Adam looked like. But a combination of genetic evidence, vendors' forensic skills, and cutting-edge computer software suggest he looked something like this. Thousands of years after the Bible, and hundreds of years after Michelangelo, we have a whole new face for Adam.
I like the expression. He's got a very forceful look.
He's intent on something, maybe taking over the world.
Now, you see that? Now, in this one right here, they actually did off of DNA coding to help them assess this image. So now we have what Adam looks like, and we can assess more than likely what most of the people in that region look like. At a certain time, that certain phenotypes started changing. Also, I don't believe that Adam even threw all out his, well, maybe not his, I'm talking about later on his children's children. all the way down to like Noah. I believe that there could have been a little bit of difference in phenotypes. I don't go with what a lot of Christians believe as far as Japheth being. I won't spoil it. Let's just keep going. Going ahead, Fuzz.
Okay. We're verse 33.
Yep.
And Jacob said, "Swear to me this day." And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. And he did eat and drink, and rose up, and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
All right, stop right there. And right there, this is proof that Esau sold his birthright. It's no longer his to complain about any of that stuff. So let's skip at this now. For time purposes, with Esau, he gets married. He takes a wife of the Hittites. Actually, he takes two wives of the Hittites, which these are Canaanites, right? Oh, what'd you say? Oh, did you want to go ahead and read it?
Yeah, I was going to suggest skipping down to 26 and 34.
Yeah, going ahead. Yeah, I won't talk. We'll just read it.
This is Genesis 26 and verse 34.
Yep.
And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittites, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittites, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and to Rebekah.
Mm-hmm.
Another characteristic of his is he ignores his parents' advice and not to marry like outside nations and just does whatever he feels like. And his parents considered it.
Well, technically, there are what it gives you is there's 9. Was it 7 nations or 9? 7 nations, I believe, that he's not to marry from. It technically doesn't say he can't marry outside of his nation. It just gives him 7 nations. Do not ever marry. So let's get to 27. Let's skip to 27 and 1.
This is Genesis 27 and verse 1. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here am I. And he said, Behold now, I am old. I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the fields, and take me some venison, and make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spoke to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison, and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat that I may eat, and bless thee before the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man.
All right, so let's hold on. Let's hold on a second. Let's explain what's going on here. For those who are not following on what's going on here, his father is about to die, and so, or his father believes he's about to die at this point. So what he is trying to do is he is trying to pass on the birthright to his eldest son. Now, keep in mind, Isaac does not know that that Esau has sold his birthright to his younger brother, Jacob. So go ahead and continue.
Verse 12. My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing.
Okay.
And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice and go fetch me them.
And so this is his mother saying, don't worry about being cursed. We going ahead and do this. And then let any kind of curse or any kind of consequences be on me, your mother. I'll take it. Just do what I'm telling you to do. Now, what he doesn't realize, what Jacob doesn't realize is his mother has already prayed about this. And so this is the way things are supposed to go. Whether she knew about him selling the birthright or not, for some reason, she already knows that this is what needs to happen. And so this is why she's willing to take this curse upon herself. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 14. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meats, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her elder son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. She gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me.
Okay, hold there. Yipper says, I think I remember this, but a long time ago. Is this the dark skin and light skin switch? Depending on how you phrase this. Well, the thing is, Jacob is smooth. He's not a hairy man at all. And that should also be factored in when you think into the future on who this could possibly be talking about. Esau is hairy, so more than likely people of his nation are going to be hairy also. Another thing, it talked about him being a man of the field and always being out. So whoever Esau is going to be somebody who travels around a lot, who's always going to be out, who is a cunning hunter. Also hairy. So these are the traits we need to think of so far with Esau. So the big issue is that Esau is super hairy. That's the reason why, that's why this lamb skin is being put on him, so that when his father touches him, he'll feel the hairiness. And so obviously, this man has to be super hairy, that you put on like goat skin, basically, and it feels like his hair on his body, which to me, that sounds pretty damn disgusting. But continue.
And verse 20, and Isaac said unto his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord thy God brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not.
So right here, the father is trying to test. Let's see, because his eyes are failing him. He's gotten older. He's trying to test. Is this actually Esau? Continue.
Verse 22. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau.
So he's recognizing his son Jacob's voice, but he's like, man, it feels like Esau though. because right now he's doubting if it's actually Jacob. I mean, he's doubting if it's actually Esau. But once he feels the hairiness, he's like, oh, I guess it is. So go ahead and continue.
Verse 23. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands.
So he discerned him not. That means he couldn't figure it out that it wasn't him.
And he said, Art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank.
Now, this is going to be a key part to make sure to focus on. Another reason why he was a little confused is because, I mean, think about it. Normally, when you go out to hunt, you got to go out, you got to hunt the animal. That might take some time. You got to kill it. Then you got to, bring it back. Then you got to, cut it up, do all this, and then get the venison ready. So it's like, man, he did all that pretty quick. Is this really him? So that's another reason why he's like, all right, I don't know about this. He got the venison really quick, and his voice sounds a little different. But he felt the furriness, the stench of the outdoors on him. Okay, this must be him. So go ahead and continue.
Verse 26. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed.
So he can tell he smells like outdoors. He smells like he's been out there hunting. So this lets you know another thing, doubling down on the fact that Esau is a hunter. He knows, man, yeah, that smells like my son. And so more than likely his son probably smelled pretty right. That's what I'm guessing.
Verse 28. Therefore God gave thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine.
Now, what's happening right now is Isaac is actually starting to give his son the blessing. So let's go back and go through that slowly, what these blessings are. So let's listen to it. Go ahead.
See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed. Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth.
Actually, hold on a second. I want to pull that up in comparative translation. I want to pull that up in comparative translation. That way you guys can hear this in a because I know the old King James, me and Fuzz read it all the time, so a lot of it, I imagine that we read it the same as reading some of these newer translations. But in case people are not, used to the old school translations, some things might go kind of under the radar or might not make exact perfect sense for what he's talking about. Crap, hold on a second. Hold on, let me get there. Dang it, what do I do with my Bible? Oh, I guess I'll pull it up on my phone then. Wait a minute, not 25. It's just Genesis 26, and where are you at? Let's see.
27, 28.
Okay. Oh, 27. Let me back. Oh, there we go. Let's skip. And then 27, 28. So read 28, and then I'll read 28 in the NLT.
Oh, that's funny. I was already in BLV. So I'm about to. Verse 28. Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine.
Okay. And 27 and 28 in the New Living Translation. From the dew of heaven and the richness of the earth, May God always give you abundant harvest of grain and bountiful new wine. So he's giving him riches, he's giving him plenty of food, and he's giving him wines. Going ahead to 29.
Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee.
Okay. 27, 29 in the New Living Translation. May many nations become your servants, and may they bow down to you. May you be the master over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. All who curse you will be cursed. All who bless you will be blessed. So that's more of a updated translation. So go ahead and continue.
Verse 30. And it came to pass as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting.
That's funny. Just as his father finishes the blessing, the whole process, Jacob walks in. So I'm going to read it in the NLT also. 30. As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and almost before Jacob had left his father, Esau returned from his hunt. Esau prepared a delicious meal and brought it to his father, then said, "Sit up, my father, and eat my wild game so you can give me your blessing." So at this point, he doesn't realize the blessing's already gone. It's already a little too late. And so he's thinking, oh, yeah, even though I sold my birthright to my brother all those years ago, now it's time for me to cash in. So go ahead and continue.
Verse 31. Verse 32. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceedingly bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father.
Okay, hold on. Now I'll read it in the NLT. Make sure you slow it down just a little bit too. 32. But Isaac asked him, Who are you? Esau replied, It's your son, your firstborn son, Esau. 33. Isaac began to tremble uncontrollably and said, Then who just served me wild game? I have already eaten it, and I blessed him just before you came. And yes, that blessing must stand. That's why I wanted to make sure to read some of these comparative texts, because it's going to, when you get out of the old English, sometimes it clarifies some of these things a little bit more. Sometimes it doesn't all the way. 34. When Esau heard his father's words, he let out a loud and bitter cry. Oh, my father, what about me? Bless me too, he begged. Going ahead, Fuzz, you're at 35.
Verse 35. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and, behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?
Okay, so and I'll read 35 and 36. But Isaac said, Your brother was here, and he tricked me. He has taken away your blessing. 36. Esau exclaimed, no wonder his name is Jacob, for he has cheated me twice. Which Jacob means supplanter. So it means to, kind of sneak in there in the first place. That's what the name means. Esau's let me back. Esau exclaimed, no wonder his name is Jacob, for now he has cheated me twice. First, he took my rights as firstborn. And this is talking about when he sold it. So he didn't trick you. You sold it. And now he has stolen my blessing. Oh, haven't you saved even one blessing for me? 37. Isaac said to Esau, I have made Jacob your master and have declared that all his brothers will be his servants. I have guaranteed him an abundance of grain and wine. What is left for me to give you, my son? So he's letting him know, I already gave him everything. The blessing is his now. There's nothing we can do back. It doesn't matter if it was trickery. He has it now. It's on him. So
can we say that another characteristic of Esau is he's a liar?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's definitely dishonest because he's not telling about the fact that he sold his birthright. In fact, well, he's kind of admitting it there. Oh, didn't he trick me? What did he trick you with? Did you already sell something? Is that the trick you're talking about? If we're playing 3 cards Monty and you hustled me and my money is gone, I had the choice to play 3-card Monty or not. I can't complain that you got the better of me in the game. If we made a business deal and I found out, oh, wait a minute, that worked out better for you, I can't complain after the fact that, oh, I got hustled. Doesn't work that way. So let's go ahead and continue.
Okay. Let's see, verse 38. Okay, actually, yeah, we're 38.
38.
Yeah. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
All right, and so I'll read it in this translation, and we'll break down what it means. So 39, and that's funny. Yipper said, "You can you can give him a have a nice day, and I bless you with that." I like that. Finally, his father Isaac said to him, "You will live." This says, "You will live away from the richness of the earth." That's the reason why you got to be careful with these translations. What did that say? Fuzz, read it again.
Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Shall be the fatness of the earth.
And of the dew of heaven from above.
Let me see this, what it says in the I'm gonna read it, but let's see what it says in the NIV also. Let's see if it gives the same translation. Because this is what it says in the NLT. You will live away from the richness of the earth and away from the dew of the heaven above. 40, you will live by your sword and you will serve your brother. But when you decide to break free, you will shake his yoke from your neck. Now, the reason why there's a problem with that is there's another scripture that talks about Esau having dominion. So how can Esau have dominion if he's always going to live away from the riches? That doesn't make very much sense. That's why some of these translations have to be careful with. So let me pull it up in the NIV. Let's see how they have it. I'll show you what we mean, the contradiction, which you're going to have. Oh, wait a minute. Pull up 26. Where did I pull up 26? See, 27:39, right? They say the same. Ooh, that's interesting. They do the same thing. Let's see what the ESV does. They both say away in these translations. And I'll show you why that's wrong. Pull up I'm trying to remember, what is it? Is fatness crops, and that fatness is wealth. And he says grains, and so fatness will be the wealth. Let's see. 27 ESV. Let's see what the ESV has to say. 39. All of these newer translations. King James this one's an older translation than all of these. Let me go to one more. So I've looked at the NIV, the NLT, ESV. All three are showing away, as the King James does not say away. It says basically you're going to have almost the same blessing. Let me look at an older Bible. Berean. Let's look it up in the Berean. You don't even know about the Berean, do you, Fuzz?
Nope.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, all of these except for the KJV says you will have the read the KJV again, and I'll tell you all of these other translations all say something different, and I'll show you why there's a problem with that.
Genesis 27:39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above.
So it's saying you're going to have riches and wealth. But wait a minute, didn't he just give Jacob that blessing while he was posing as Isaac? Yes, he did. So let's continue.
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
So this
and
is
shalt
saying.
serve.
So it's saying Esau is going to live by the sword. Continue.
And shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
So wait a minute. It sounded like it's saying Esau is going to have a dominion. But hold on. Well, let's read what it says in the Berean. Behold, your dwelling shall be away from the richness of the land, away from the dew of heaven above. 40, you shall live by the sword and serve your brother. But when you rebel, you will tear his yoke from your neck. So he's going to tear the yoke from his neck. So if he tears the yoke from his neck, then that means that he's not going to be under his dominion at all, right? So he's not under his dominion. You're saying he's still going to be impoverished? Well, if that's correct, let's go to 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. What does that say there?
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Now, wait a minute. If he's the end of the world, let's see. Is there any other translation to what that could mean? He's the end of the world. Let's try to see if I can find it anywhere else. No. Hold on a second. Oop. Back out of this. Actually, wanted to say 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. They put address. All right. That's what I want to do. Let's put this. I should bring this up on the screen, shouldn't I?
BLB breakdown.
Yeah.
All right.
For those who don't know, please explain to them what that is.
This is the site Blue Letter Bible, where we're able to sift through multiple different types of translations, and as well as being able to parse the Hebrew to look up definitions for what the different words in Scripture.
Hebrew and Greek.
Hebrew and Greek.
Why is it not pulling up? Hold on. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong. It doesn't pull it up in here. I got to be spelling this wrong. Let's see.
What are you trying to find?
Second address 6 and 9. Oh, I am. Duh. That's why. ES. Esdras. There we no, that's Ezra. That's the wrong one. Especially in a KJV, it should come up. Is it coming up for you?
Weird. I type in as ESDRAS and Ezra EZRA pops up.
All right, well, it does not want to show it for some reason. I wonder if Maccabees will come up. Okay. It seems like it's not pulling up anything from the Apocrypha.
You'd have to use Bible Gateway.
Bible Gateway, okay. Let me pull that up. Yoke, when it talks about a yoke is a it's like a chain. Let's go back, Bible Gateway. Or I could just close that and then pull up another window. Even though I got like 75 windows open. Bible Gateway. Click.
Oh, no way.
What?
I don't think the Apocrypha is in the NLT here.
No, it's not.
Wow. Bummer.
Esdras 2. There we go. Oh, I don't know. It's not showing up here either. Interesting. Which King James do I have here? Wait a minute. It should be in the Geneva Bible. Let's see. It's not showing it. Well, I don't want to keep wasting too much time.
Yeah, we're already hitting the hour mark.
Already. So, where do I want to go with this? So now I got chains of fools in my head. Let's pull one of the later scriptures. Yeah.
We kind of went off on a translation tangent.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to remember the cup. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to show. Let's take a little detour real quick. Let's take a fun little detour. Esau not having that tonight. Esau is having fun with the translations. Hello, Ali. I want to show you guys something from an older video. Oh, wait a minute. I got to pull the video up first, right? That would help. That would help if I pulled the video. Move my mic out of the way. It's all up in my way. I got to figure better setup than this. And there we go. And let's get to that video. Hold on a second. So I want to show some. I want to show what it looks like. I want to show Mount Seir in video form. And I know that we could show this and it won't be any kind of copyright issues because it's my video. That's the good thing about it. So there it is. And let's share the screen now. So one key part I wanted to show in particular. I think that's a good spot to start it. If it'll stop buffering any moment. That's weird. I normally don't have these issues with my signal. There we go. Now let's stop, take a look at some of this. Now, I'm pretty sure, Fuzz, you have a scripture for that. Clefts of the Rocks? Mount Seir?
Actually, I have not had that one on my list.
Deuteronomy 2 and 22.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 2 and 22.
Yeah. Or I guess you can, yeah, start with go 21.
This is book Deuteronomy chapter 2 and verse 21. A people great and many and tall as the Anakims, but the Lord destroyed them before them, and they succeeded them and dwelt in their stead, as he did to the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, when he destroyed the Horims from before them, and they succeeded them and dwelt in their stead even unto this day.
Now, this was Esau's land. Keep reading.
And the Avims, which dwelt in Hazarim, even unto Azah. The Caphtorims, which came forth out of Caphtor, destroyed them, and dwelt in their stead. Rise ye up, take your journey, and pass over the river Arnon. Behold, I have given into thine hand Sihon the Amorite, king of Heshbon and his land. Begin to possess it, and contend with him in battle. This day will I begin to put the dread of thee and the fear of thee upon the nations that are under the whole heaven, who shall hear report of thee, and shall tremble and be in anguish because of thee.
All right. Well, let's pull up a map real quick also. I want to pull up a map, that way we can see it. Actually, hold on one second. And Yipper says, I don't know, Marcus. In school, I've learned you can still get in trouble for plagiarism, even if it is your own work. That's crazy. Well, anybody can take photos and then turn it into a video, correct? That's all it is. So they haven't came after me for it yet. And this video is about 4 years. So I imagine I'm still going to be okay. But let's drop this one for the time being. And let's pull up a map real quick. So we can show a map. Let's see if this will. Oh, I want the map. There we go. Let me zoom in more. There we go. Now, as we can see, the northern kingdom of Israel is right here. Southern kingdom of Judah or Judea. It's actually Judea is more correct because that is the name of the land. Judah is the name of a tribe. This is the land of Edom, and this is down here. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Mount Petra. Oh, crap, I don't want to do that. Mount Petra, where I was showing you guys before. And it's talking about Moab. Moab right above. And Ammon right above there also. Modern day, Damascus, you see that? Assyrian Empire, Syria. Phoenicia, the Syrophoenician state, sitting right above.
It's a
Philistine. Well, what was that?
It's a little hard to see. Like what you're specifically pointing at, it's a little hard for me.
Let me see if it'll let me go back. Showing that again. Hold on, let me see what. Let's do this. Let's make that bigger and let's see if it'll. Is that better?
Yeah, a bit.
A little bit? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this area right here in the old times was Philistine, where the Canaanites lived. This is Judea right here, as it lists as the kingdom of Judah, but it's actually Judea. Judah is one of the tribes. Here's the northern kingdom of Israel. This is Ammon, Moab right here, and this is Edom. right here. Now, remember, Fuzz, I was telling you sometimes uh, um, tribes in Judah would sometimes team up with Edom and Moab to go against the northern kingdom Israel. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes Israel would team up with Ammon to fight against Judah. Now you see it makes a little bit more sense on the map because they are all neighbors. So, of course, there's going to be a lot of intermixing and intermingling. So you have an initial group. I'll get back out of that. You have an initial group of Edom. And you're going to have later on plenty of mixing in of the different tribes because they're neighbors. What happens in most places when you live right on the border? I don't know if most people have seen that area right next to where Asia and in Europe meets. You have a lot of people who have a mixture of the looks, a mixture of the phenotypes. And that's something that gets confusing sometimes later on in life. So, though we do have though I do have a phenotype in mind of overall who Edom would be, just like I have a phenotype in mind of who the 12 tribes would be. You got to remember, Edom also had. Can you bring up Esau's descendants? Because he also had the Dukes of Edom also, which went into his ancestors. Now, this is going back easily, what, thousands, three, four, 5,000 years. It can be a little bit it can be a little bit hard to figure out who's who. So we do have phenotypes that we imagine. Just keep in mind, I'm not saying every single person who falls into one of these groups is necessarily this or not necessarily this. But phenotypically, each of these tribes do have a kind of a look. Would that be fair to say, Fuzz?
Yeah.
All right, continue.
So, Genesis 36 from the top.
Yeah.
This is Book of Genesis, chapter 36 and verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom.
Mm-hmm.
Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adah, the daughter of Elon the Hittites, and Aholibama, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite,
Mm-hmm.
and Bashemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. And Adah bare to Esau Eliphaz, and Bashemath bare Reuel,
Mm-hmm.
and Aholibama bare Jeush, and Jaalam, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, which were born unto him in the land of Canaan. And Esau took his wives and his sons and his daughters, and all the persons of his house, and his cattle and all his beasts and all his substance, which he had got in the land of Canaan, and went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob. For their riches were more than that they might dwell together. And the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them because of their cattle. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
Okay, Esau is Edom. So Esau, Seir, all the same thing. The Middle East is all a ball of confusion. Yes, there is going to be a ball of confusion. And that's the reason why, even though you're going to have, let's bring up, what was that one before we start? I wanted you to have ready. Wheats and the Tares. Did I tell you to get that one?
Yeah,
I don't remember if I did or not.
you did.
But this is why this scripture is very important.
Let me see. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13, and verse 27.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the servants of the household came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares?
So what he's saying is basically like this parable. All right, I guess I can let it go a little bit further before I start explaining them. So go ahead.
Verse 28. He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn.
Now, for those who didn't understand what that's talking about, is he's using the parable of growing wheat and tare. The reason why he used the metaphor, the wheats and the tares. I wonder if I can find a picture of wheats and tares, so I can explain that for those who have not seen a tare before, to know what we mean by wheats and tares. Wheat and tares. Let's see. So let's see if we have an image. All right. All right, that's a good picture. Let's see. Where'd that go? Gotta love when you go to these sites and it has it there and then it doesn't want to show you it. Okay, so let's share screen. Share screen and all right, you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
You see how the wheat looks like that and the tares, they look a little bit separate, but they do look similar enough. And if they're all blended in there, it can be hard to tell the difference. What's a wheat and what's a tare? That's the whole point of this verse, to explain that there's going to be so much mixing in that you're going to have a hard time knowing who's who, what's what. It also says that the Israelites were dispersed. And so if they're dispersed into all nation, they're going to blend into all nations and they're going to come out of every nation. So you can't necessarily be 100% on who is the wheat and who is the tare. And so in the days of Judgment Day, that's when it's going to be separated who is what. Fuzz, did you have something there? I saw you typing up something.
Yeah, I was just going to go into, I was going to get that Deuteronomy 30:3. That
Okay.
then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. So
Yes,
until the time of salvation, we're going to be scattered everywhere.
everywhere. And so remember how he was talking about, what did it say he was going to do with the tares? Read that verse one more time.
All right, I shouldn't have let that go so fast. 1 second. So, let's see. Matthew chapter 13 and verse 30. Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of the harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but
So
gather the wheat into my barn.
Now I keep going because I think right after that, does it say, is that the one right after where he explains the parable? Because I think he clearly states.
The next parable is the mustard seed.
Oh, no. Okay, never mind. Hold on now. And then keep that. Hold that one, and then bring up sheep and the goats.
All right. This is Book of Matthew, chapter 25, and verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to remember what it is. If I can find it real quick, because there is a scripture where he actually plainly explains it. Oh, wait a minute. Is there more on that one? Let's see.
There's one more.
Okay.
Verse 34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to go to Obadiah 1 and 18. So actually, read the wheats and the tares one more time, and then we're going to go Obadiah 1 and 18, because it talked about what it was going to do to the tares. And so it's explaining to you who the tares are, one of the what it means by who's the tare and who's the wheat.
All right. Matthew 25 and verse 33.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Verse 34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. So,
okay. And then Obadiah 1 and Obadiah 1 and 18.
Give me a moment.
I'll take your time. I am making you jump around a lot.
All right. 1 and 18.
Yeah, 1 and 18.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them, and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it.
Mm-hmm.
And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria and Benjamin shall possess Gilead.
All right, so remember we talked about the wheats and the tares, and it talked about gather them up, and they will be bound and then burned. That's what it talks about there in Obadiah, giving that same, all of these prophecies all tied together, speaking a lot of times the same thing. It's just being explained by a different person at a different point in time throughout this whole entire saga or history. Let's see, what other ones did, oh yeah. What was it that you wanted to, I'm trying to remember what's the name, but showing the connection from Esau to Amalek to
Okay. Okay. So
Because, well, let's just establish, because this is something I wanted to bring up. A lot of times Christians will say, well, Esau is done away with in the Old Testament.
No.
Bear with me. I got to look this up just so I can prove something. Let's see. Matthew, what is it? Oh, I guess I could use any of. Wow, I can use any of these. Let's go to Matthew 2. Yeah, let's go to Matthew 2 at the top. So this is what we can establish. This is the New Testament in the time of Christ. And so for anybody that says, oh, well, in the Old Testament, that Obadiah, since Obadiah is in the Old Testament, then this already happened. Wrong. This is what's proving that Obadiah is giving a future prophecy when he's talking about this. All right, go ahead, read Matthew 2.
This is Book of Matthew, chapter 2 and verse 1. Now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem.
All right, hold that. That's all I needed. Herod.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Herod? Who is Herod? Let's show you something. And we can even do this secular. I'm going to bring this up in secular story. And we can prove it biblically too, but just because no matter where you look this up, this is going to tell you the same thing. This is right here, simple old Wikipedia. Got a nice little image of him right there. Herod I was a Roman client king of Judea, referred to as the Herodian king. He is known for his colossal buildings throughout Judea, including the renovation of the Second Temple in Jerusalem and the expansion of the Temple Mount towards its north. The enclosure around the cave, Patriarch's Hebron structure. Okay, so we got who Herod is. Now, let's go down a little bit. Herod was born around 72 BC in Idumea, south of Judea. Do you guys remember that map we looked at before? What is south of Judea? Let's click on, oh, wait a minute. Actually, I'll just keep on reading. Oh, wait a minute. That's a good note. That was kind of an accidental pull up. John Hyrcanus II, a member of the Hasmonean dynasty, was for a long time the Jewish high priest. I'll leave it at that for now. In the 1st century BCE, he was also briefly king of Judea, 67 to 66 BCE, and then the ethnarch ruler of Judea, probably over the period of 47 to 40 BC. Now let's read a little bit more. When it said Herod was born in Idumea, south of Judea, he was the second son of Antipater the Idumean, a high-ranking official under the ethnarch Hyrcanus II, and what was it? Cypros, a Nabatean Arab princess from the city of Petra. Remember, we were talking about Petra, where Edom is, or Petra or Edom. Herod's father was by descent an Edomite. His ancestors had converted to Judaism. Herod was raised as a Jew. A contemporary of Herod, that the Idumeans, who he identified as Nabatean origin, constituted the majority of the population of Western Judea, where they commingled with the Judeans and adopted their customs. This is a view shared also by some modern scholarly works, which consider Idumeans as of Arab or Nabatean origins. Thus, Herod was ethnically an Arab on both sides of his family. That's what they say. But let's go back to that image.
So, do you have anywhere that would be able to show that Idumea is the Greek version word for Edom?
Yeah, I can. Well, we can just click right on it. Watch what comes up. Let me find Idumea in there again. Where was that at? It's crazy. I don't even know. Oh, that's right. I scrolled down. Idumea. Idumea. When you pull up Idumea, you get. Well, I skipped all the way down. Name of Edom in the Hebrew Bible. The Hebrew word Edom means red, and the Hebrew Bible relates it to the name of its founder, Esau, the elder son of Hebrew patriarch Isaac. I don't know why that little weird image. But here it is. Right here. Edom and Idumea are two related but distinct different. No, they're not. They're the same thing. Right there, this map over here, which we pulled up before. See that? Kingdom of Edom. Remember, it told you Idumea is beneath Judea. This is right beneath. When they talk about the Nabateans, Nabatu tribes, this is what that's talking about. They were the inhabitants who moved in after they were there before Edom moved in. And Edom, the Nabateans were pushed out. Edom moved in. Let's see. Here is another very interesting artifact. You guys see that? This right here. No, you're all good. You're all good, Chris. Right here, you see this? Does this look familiar to anybody? Anybody at all? Fuzz, does this look familiar to you at all?
Kind of looks like architecture that we live very close to.
It looks like Greek and Roman architecture, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go into one other thing. Let's pull it. Chris says, "What's good? What's up, everyone? Glad to see you in here." Let's pull up one more thing because I got pictures of Herod. You guys, let me see if you're seeing that. Let's share it. Now, this is what it says Herod looks like. These are busts of the Herodian dynasty. King Herod, Herod Antipas, Herod Agrippa. Now, I don't know about you guys, but these three right here do not look very Arab to me. They look very much like Romans. Yes, these are actual busts in museums. These are what the Herodians look like. So, I'm wondering, I don't know, anybody else have an anti-theist or can tell me why do these Herodians look very European? Now, keep in mind, it did say that the Herodians, hey, Baba Yaga, it said the Herodians lived to the west and the Judeans lived to the east, letting you know that there were two different people living in the land of Israel. There were Esau's descendants and Jacob's descendants, both living there. I would say in harmony. I wouldn't necessarily say in harmony, but that's what we have to keep in mind. There were two different people living there, and this is the literal bust of what Esau looks like. Now, Fuzz, do you have that one I was looking for? Or I can pull it up if nothing else. I don't have my Bible. I got to pull it up on my phone.
I have Esther.
Okay. Yeah. Going ahead.
All right. So this is Esther 3 and 1.
Okay.
After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hamadatha,
Yeah, Hamadatha.
the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. Agagite is
from Agag.
From Agag, which is one of the kings from the land of Edom. If I remember correctly.
Let's bring up that testament to tie it together. So hold that Esther 3 and 1 and go to Samuel, 1 Samuel. Hold on. 1 Samuel 15 and 32. So pull 1 Samuel 15 and 32. Then we can go to come back to Esther.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 15 and 32. Then said Samuel, "Bring ye hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites." And Agag came unto him delicately.
Now, remember that before. King of the Amalekites. Now, then when we went into Esau's sons, one of his grandson. Actually, let's go all the way back. Esau had his sons Eliphaz, Reuel, you got it?
Yeah, I do. This is Genesis 36 and verse 11 through 12. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son. And she bare to Eliphaz Amalek.
Amalek, you hear that? Amalek.
These were the sons of Ada, Esau's wife.
So Esau's grandson is Amalek through Eliphaz. Eliphaz is his son, Timnah is his mother, and then you come up to Amalek. So go ahead and read that verse that you had again before that. So, because I want us to be able to show this tie, because you can show this tie all the way from Esau to Eliphaz to Amalek, then eventually down to Agag. So continue.
Esther 3 and 1?
Yes.
After these things did King Ahasuerus...
Sorry, Samuel, 1 Samuel 15. Was it
32?
And 32, yeah.
Then said Samuel, "Bring ye hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites." And Agag came unto him delicately. And Agag said, "Surely the bitterness of death is past."
Okay, now we have Esau, we have Eliphaz, then we have Amalek. Now right there, we just showed in Samuel's Agag. Now go to Esther 3 and 1.
This is Esther chapter 3 and verse 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the Agagite, and advanced him.
Haman is an Agagite. Let's keep that in mind.
And advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
Now,
And now this is the additions
First,
to Esther.
first. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
This is the additions to the book of Esther in the Apocrypha. Chapter 16 and verse 10. For Aman, a Macedonian, the son of Amadatha, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood, and far distant from our goodness, and as a stranger received of us, had so far forth obtained the favor that we shew toward every nation, as that he was called our father, and was continually honored of all men as the next person unto the king. The most important part is verse 10, calling Haman a Macedonian.
Exactly, a Macedonian. Keep that in mind. Now, was it First Maccabees or Second? First Maccabees.
Yes.
First Maccabees, 1.
1 and 1.
1 and
Should
1.
be.
Yeah.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
Now, let's keep that in mind. Go back and reread that so everybody can hear it one more time.
First Maccabees 1 and 1. And it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
So
This
he
is
reigned the
Ale-
first over Greece. This
This
would
is
be
Alexander the Great.
so right there. And we would all recognize the Greeks to be so-called white people for the most part, right? Even if you look
Mhm.
a certain way, that is like, remember what we talked about, the wheats and the tares. People are going to be mixed in, but Alexander himself, no doubt about it, is an Edomite. So if that's telling you Alexander is Edom, then that's giving you a first and foremost, I guess, an image of what an Edomite would look like. Being able to tie that and showing the Bible lineage all the way down, the trajectory down. Now, I'd like for you, now that we have that on the screen, I want to go back to Genesis 25 and 25.
This is book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 25. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
Now, this said he came out red all over like a hairy garment. Remember, we said that in Hebrew, there's only one word for red. So you could be a reddish brown, you could be a blood red, it can be wine red, whatever. The way you describe what the red is by the way you use these different terms. It said like a hairy garment, red like a hairy garment. The reason why that's significant is because the way they dyed hairy garments in that time period is they used what were called cochineal worms. These worms you would crush, mix these with water, and dye them, dip them in there. It would give it a bright red, very reddish skin. Now, a little uncomfortable to say, but what color do you think Alexander was as a baby? Bright red. So that should give you an idea of who Esau would be according to the Bible. Now, I want you to go to Obadiah chapter 1. Now, I want to see if this describes at all. Remember, we talked about Esau being a man of the field, that he was a hunter, all of these things like that. And this is also tied a cunning hunter. Would we not describe Alexander the Great as a very cunning hunter? It also talked about, and so if we take that line, let's put the Herodian dynasty back on the screen real quick. We already saw what Herod looked like. We already saw what Alexander looked like. And let's bring the Herodian line back up again. These are actual busts of the men at the time. This is what it said that they were supposed to have looked like. Now, there are more. Let me find that other one. Let's hop in there. So let's stop that one and let's share the other one. So, Alexander, no. Where's it at? Is this the one I want? Yeah, let's grab that one because this has many. You see, these are the ones that are literally in museums right now. The actual bust of what the Herodian rulers looked like. Now, I guess, if they look Arab to you, then okay, then they're Arab. I'm not going to argue. Was that?
They ain't.
That's what I'm saying. Is if somebody believes that those are Arab men right there, then okay, that's fine. Now, let's continue on with one. Obadiah 1. Now we're gonna go, yes, because this is going to describe tendencies of Esau.
Oh, we're doing all of it?
We can. Why not?
Okay.
We can finish it out with doing. Honestly, we can even just do like to 15 or 16, because it really describes the tendencies of Esau.
16 should do.
Yeah.
All right. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise.
Actually, you know what? Hold that. Remember when we had those problems where we looked it up in those other translations outside the KJV, and it said that Esau would be away from wealth, correct? Was that correct, folks?
Yeah.
Psalms 83. Psalms 83 and 1. If those other translations were correct, and it's saying that Esau would be away from wealth, it also said once it broke its dominion, then let's just go ahead and read it. Psalms 83 and 1.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
So wait a minute. That lifted up the head. Remember, it talked about that Esau's neck would be yoked. He's lifted up his head now. Continue.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
So this is saying, this is saying cut the Israelites off from being a nation. Sorry, continue.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
confederate against thee. Altogether, it's conspiracy.
The tabernacles of Edom and the
First,
Ishmaelites.
hold on, slow it down, slow it down. The first person on the list it names is Edom. So if Edom is on that list and knocking Israel or Jacob out of power, and they're going to be put down low at the bottom, like how Deuteronomy 28 said that they would be, and said that they will be impoverished until the end days, then everybody can't be at the bottom. Somebody has to rise to the top, and if Israel or Jacob is not at the top, then obviously the other brother would take the helm, correct? So let's continue. So you said the tabernacles of Edom. Who else?
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
Of Moab and the Hagarenes. Gebal and Ammon and Amalek.
And Amalek also. Remember we read about Amalek? Continue.
The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot. Salah.
Okay, so it's letting you know a whole group of nations came together and cut Israel off from being a nation, and it names the culprits there. So obviously Israel is not going to be in power. So if Edom got all these people together to do this, then more than likely Edom is prospering also. Wouldn't we all agree? So let's go back to Obadiah 1.
This is Obadiah 1:1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
Now wait a minute. Now when it said small among the heathen, didn't it say wouldn't we agree right now that a certain group of people are having problems with birth rates? That would be small when your birth rates are decreasing. Continue.
Thou art greatly despised.
Now, name a nation. I mean, most people could say America, and who mostly controls America. Who would be greatly despised? So go ahead and continue.
The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
Now think about it. Is there any more prideful nation than America? Continue.
Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high.
Remember what we showed before? Hold on a second. Remember what we showed before about Edom? Let me see if I can pull that back up. Let's pull Edom back up. Dwell in the clefts of the rocks. Let's see if we can show that. I want to find one part in particular so we can show this and bring back to everybody's memory. Oh, that's the one. That's where I wanted to dwell in the clefts of the rocks. You see that? We not see that. What does that look like right there? Literally in the clefts of the rocks. Does this look like this can be a building in Washington, D.C.? Carved literally into rocks? And let me play it a little bit more so you can see a little bit more of this. Oh, that's a good shot. Look at that. And do you want to know what this building is called? This building is called the Treasury. This building is literally called the Treasury. So let's continue.
The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalts thyself as the eagle.
Yeah, hold on a sec.
Mm-hmm.
I think there literally is an eagle in one of these photos. Oh, what is this right here? This is an eagle. No, the head's falling off. This is an eagle. Let's continue, because I want to break. I'm gonna break it down a little bit more. Now, you can't tell me that this does not look like structures which you would see, and even say, castles in the UK. This framework and stuff, does that not look? But let's look at it a little bit more. Look at this. Look at the detail in this work. Look how similar it is. Now, or unless the mindset is that no, what actually happened is Europeans actually just saw this in the Middle East and decided to copy it exactly throughout most of Europe. That would have to be the guess or understanding. By the way, when you go through it, it looks beautiful. I mean, look at this. Like a gladiator type style. Doesn't this kind of remind you of Rome? Oh, yeah, by the way, there is a Colosseum there too. Let's skip ahead a little. Trying to see if I can find the Colosseum real quick. Yeah, this is the Colosseum. Now, we have an image here too. What does this look like? Let's see if it'll get closer. I didn't remember if I made a closer version or not. All right, so I think we get the gist of that. You guys want to check that video out? It is on my channel. Yipper says, it looks like you can see that in Russia, Versailles, etc. Exactly. You can see that kind of architecture all over Europe. And so why would all the Europeans across the board all have the same architecture? Let me see. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. Let me pull up my email. I sent some interesting stuff to myself in my mail. Let's see what I got. Okay, yeah. Hold on one second. Let me share my screen. Europe isn't that very creative. Yeah. I mean, and another thing is when it talks about the eagle, every European country uses the eagle as their symbol. Every single one has used the eagle as their symbol at some point in time in their history. Let's show you one other thing. Actually, yeah, go ahead, Fuzz. Keep. Go back to that. Let's go on ahead a little bit further in the verse, but go back to the part of though thou exalt thyself like the eagle.
Yeah. Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Only one of these countries had made it to the moon.
Well, but this can be used so many ways. This can be talking about exalting yourself literally into the stars like the moon. Also, when you get to certain prophecies and revelations, it refers to the children of Israel as the stars. So if you made yourself an authority over the Israelites and they're being called the stars, then you would be exalting yourself above the stars. Continue.
If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
So it's saying the Edomites are a greedy nation, that they don't leave anything behind. They take everything they possibly can take. Full of greed. Continue. Actually, I'm wondering if I'm curious what that says in comparative translation, because we've already showed how one translation was completely wrong. Because if this is talking about them now taking all this stuff, then how are they going to be away from wealth if they're taking all this stuff? That doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Okay, I got it. Where are you at now? What was that, Obadiah 1:6?
Yeah. Oh no, that was verse 5.
Verse 5. Okay, let's see what it says for 5. If thieves came at night and robbed you, and it says in parentheses, what a disaster awaits you. They would not take everything. Those who harvest grapes always leave a few for the poor, but your enemies will wipe you out completely. It's saying Edom's going to take everything. Even thieves might leave a little bit behind, not Edom. 6. Every nook and cranny of Edom will be searched and looted. Every treasure will be found out and taken. I like the translation better in the KJV. So go ahead and continue.
Verse 7.
Especially no for 6. Read 6. I like the translation of 6 better.
How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?
Because see, when it's talking about those hidden things, when you look back to the Greek, it's not just the Greek and the Hebrew. It's not just talking about like hidden treasures. It's talking about hidden information also. So it talks about in the time towards the end, you will start to find out their secrets. All their secrets that they've kept all these years will start coming out. Continue.
Verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee.
So this is telling you, hold on a second. This is telling you that for Edom, the people that you think that you made peace with, that you think are on your side, that you better watch them because something is brewing. So continue.
And prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
So let me read that in the NLT. Obadiah 7, NLT. All your allies will turn against you. They will help you to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you, and you don't even know about it. Well, Edom is no longer in the land of Edom because nobody can live there, actually. Like a city can't live there. And it talks about how it would make, their lands desolate. So they would have to move somewhere else. So once they moved to a new land, they said they lived by the sword. So what do you think they did since they lived by the sword? And also think of what other nation can be described as living more than the sword. I mean, or what nation do you think of when you think of a country that literally lives and uses their sword? And modern day sword, nobody's going around literally fighting with swords and shields anymore. The modern day sword is the gun, is the missiles. Who uses their swords everywhere? Let's go ahead and continue.
Verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?
And it's saying it's going to take away that understanding out of Esau. And it's saying even your wise men in that day, in that judgment day, I'm even going to take your wise men away and deal with them also. Continue.
And thy mighty men, O Teman.
And that's talking about even your brave men. Tim. Oh, did you say Teman? Hold on. I gotta bring this up. Let's see. Let's go in. Yipper says America. Exactly. Let's see. What do I have here? Edom in prophecy. Jeremiah 49:8. Turn and flee. Hide in deep caves. Remember I was doing that video about the bomb shelters and all that, which the wealthy were planning. It says, you people of Dedan, for when I bring disaster on Edom, I will punish you too. The Edomites left their land to live in caves, and they end up, and think about it, what we've showed modern day Caucasians, where did they originate out of? Why are they called Caucasians? Because they come from the Caucasus Mountains, out of the foothills of Georgia, Russia. Job 30:5-6. They were driven forth from men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the clefts of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. I'll give you one more. Ezekiel 36:5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea. Right here, tying Idumea and Edom together again, which have appointed my lands into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds, to cast out prey. And then this is from Gorilla. It says Bible prophecy, whoever is in Israel now are the Edomites. Let's see. Oh yeah, a couple of good. Latini originally meant men of the plain. Did we not say that Esau was a man of the field? Field, plains. That's what Latins meant originally. And back to Genesis 25:27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. Strong's, this is from the Blue Letter Bible, Strong's H7704, field, land, or plain. Let's go down a little bit more. What else did I have in here? Thracians. Oh, yeah, this was an interesting part. Edoni, and you guys can look this up in history, the Thracians. Edoni, also Edonians, Edonides were a Thracian people who dwelt mostly between the Nestus and the Strymon River in southern Thrace, but also once dwelt west of the Strymon, at least as far as Axios, Macedon. Timonid. Did you say something about Timon before? Timonid?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that verse one more time?
And thy, verse 9, and thy mighty men, O Timon, shall be dismayed. To
Mighty
the end
men.
that mhm.
Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry, read again.
To the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
That's brutal. That is brutal. So even whether you have the phenotype or not, you better pray that you have the phenotype and that you are not one of these people. And I do put the disclaimer out there. The wheats and the tares, that's why I brought that up. The sheep and the goats, because we're not going to know until the end day who's who. But phenotypically, if you do have that lighter skin tone, you run a higher risk of being one of these said people. Let's pull that back up. So the term Timonid is the linguistic evolution of Timonite, meaning descendant of Timon. Who is Timon? Genesis 36, 10 and 11. This is why I had him read this a couple of times. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adal, the wife of Esau; Ruel, the son of Bashemath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatan, and Kanaz, which later on, that's Kanaz. Doesn't that sound kind of very similar to Ashkenaz? No, just leaving that out there. So we can clearly, we see two very clear lines from Alexander the Great, a white man, and his entire white dynasty, which gave way to white rule on the earth as Esau/Edom. And here's a book for you. You guys can look up a statue of another statue of Edom, of the Edomite, the new light of the Edomites, which he put this image next to it. We'll show a kind of a comparison in looks. Let's see, Vikings. I think that's all I had for that. Etruscans. Okay, yeah, I think that's all I had for that. And so, if somebody has a different understanding and can prove a, what do they call it?
Antithesis.
An antithesis and a thesis that would suggest something different, then I'm all ears to hearing your perspectives. But this is what the Bible leads to when it talks about who Esau is. And the reason why that is important is if you know who the Israelites actually are and you know who Esau actually is. And I want to put this disclaimer out there again. Are there going to be people who look like who we believe are Israelites, who are Edomites or Canaanites or something else? Yes, without a doubt. There are going to be what we call confusion of faces. Are there going to be people who look like so-called Edomites who are not Edomites, who are actually Israelites? Yes. So you can't always focus so much on phenotypes, but if you want to give a standard on what, for the most part, the Israelites are going to look like, it would be the so-called blacks, so-called Latinos, and so-called natives, and a kind of template for what the Edomites would look like. That would be the so-called white man. So, like I said again, that does not mean every single white person is going to fall back to that lineage. Shoot, for all we know, you could be a white person and go back to Moab. You can go back to Ammonite. You can go to a Canaanite. You could be an Israelite. But for the most part, the people who are in power, who are running things, are without a doubt the Edomites. Second Ezra 6 and 9. Go ahead and just read it out.
This is Second Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
So what that's telling you is the end of the world, and that phrase, it does not say end of the world as in the whole world is about to be destroyed. It actually, when you look back into the Greek, it comes up as aeon. So it's talking about the end of that age, end of that time. Once their time is up, then it will be Jacob or the Israelites' time to rule. Trying to think, Fuzz, did you have anything else?
Nope.
I think we hit all the points I wanted to, as far as I wanted to go in here.
For part one, anyway.
Yeah, for part one, I guess I'll go with Hebrews 12 and 16. Could you give me that one? Remember, disclaimer, I'm not saying every single person who is a Caucasian is Esau, but I'm saying that that would be the phenotype of Esau as we saw through archaeology, as is talked about, describing, various different traits. It leans and points to one group of people more than anybody else. If you have an antithesis, I'm all ears to hearing it, but gotta go with common sense and what it's saying to me and what it's showing. So Hebrews 12 and 16, sir.
This is Book of Hebrews 12 and 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
All right. Mandy Jones. Hey, Mandy. Says, anyone know where I can find out which one I came from? Well, I would say do these couple of things. For one, try to trace back your lineage as far as you can. That helps. If you can find, and on your father's side, because the Bible determines your lineage by whoever your father is. Your mother's side adds to your DNA traits, different things like that. Your phenotypical look, it can help vary it, but how the Bible looks at it is you are the seed of your father and father's father's fathers. Is it a matter of where my ancestors originate? Not necessarily, because at one point in time, Europe was completely ruled by the Moors. And so from I'm talking about literally from UK all the way across to Russia, 4,000 years was ruled by the Moors. So leftover Moors, which not every single one of them was Israelites, but some of them were, more than likely were absorbed into those populations. Therefore, you could have people who don't phenotypically fit what we would imagine to be an Israelite and would start looking, what we say phenotypically would be more than likely an Edomite is not necessarily going to be, is not necessarily. So just because they look a certain way doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to fit, into that. And you might find out, oh crap, well, a minute, our family, well, we all thought that we were just Irish or Italians or whatever, and you don't know that you might have an Israelite back in the back of your generations, and you just phenotypically look different. Ali says, like the Moorish temple. See, the only issue I have with the well, the Moorish Americans is they're not doing any kind of nuanced studying or research to connect the dots to any of this stuff. Not using any kind of archaeology, anything to really base their thought pattern on. It's basically like the same with like a lot of Egyptologists. It's like, okay, well, that was a black empire that was powerful and had grace and had honor. So I'm just going to attach myself to it because I feel like I'm attached to it without giving any kind of plausible explanation. Like for instance, there is history books where you can see where there were literally over a million Jews, which after 70 AD fled into Africa. You can there are Africans who will attest to, during the slave trades that their family literally sold Hebrews into slavery to the Portuguese and to the Spaniards. So that is a part of history that you can actually document. You can document in early Baptist church Hebrew cursive writing on pews. You can document that there is 10 commandments in Hebrew in New Mexico. In fact, there's more Hebrew artifacts in the Americas than there are in Israel, literally. So there's smoke there. There is history there. The Igbo, the Ashanti, you can even literally talk to certain rabbis that will acknowledge that yes, the slave trade did come out of that area, and it's very strong possibility that a lot of them were Israelites. I have like 2 videos where I have actual rabbis who live in Israel who admit to this fact. Let's see, Ali said, I remember I asked you, but yeah, LOL, they seem really set on one narrative from what I read. Yeah, they're just set on, and I'll admit it, most minorities, if you really trace back to our histories being conquered, being taken over, having our culture stripped away, names stripped away, given a new language, whether that's Spanish, English, Portuguese, French, it's not something that you want to look to and are proud of. So some people will latch on to Egyptology or Kemet, or I'm a Moorish American. But one thing about Hebrew Israelites is there is actual study, there's books, there's real scholarship that lends to high probability on some of these things. And there's biblical prophecy, which was written thousands of years before any of these events happened, which you have to start taking some of those things into consideration. Andy says, oh man, so do we know at what time it got mixed like that? It literally back in the Old Testament days, in the BCE days, the Israelites went into captivity under the Babylonians, under the Egyptians, under the Moabites for a brief amount of time. There was intermixing with the Ammonites also. There was intermixing with Edom. So there's going to be so much intermixing going on, and then also Israelites. Some of them were dispersed out of the land. Some of them left and went to Europe and lived in Europe. So at what point where the mixing started, it can be hard to tell. That's the reason why earlier I read about the wheats and the tares, because it can be confusing on knowing exactly what. What I would suggest is to look into the curses, and I would, to make it easier, start with Deuteronomy 28. Start reading through these curses. Was it 15 through 68, and see how many of these curses fit your experience, your family's experience. And if you have a high probability of these things combined with maybe you have knowledge that trace back to an ancestor, which it looks that you combine those 2 things together, and then that helps give you an idea. If you're not fitting any of those curses, no matter what your phenotype is, you can, for all your life, always known yourself to be Latino. But if you trace back to a Spaniard, an actual Spaniard, and there is no kind of mixing back in there, that would mean more than likely you might fall to the Edomite side, even though you might think of yourself as, oh well, you get what I'm saying. It can be mixed. That's why that I read that parable. Well, I had Fuzz read that parable about the wheats and the tares. Mandy says, if you have any resources you'd recommend, I'd really appreciate it. This is so stimulating, and I'm suddenly flooded with a ton of questions I feel like I should have already answered to. Yeah, I would say look back to some of these older videos that I have. A lot of them have a wealth of knowledge. Also, if you're reading scriptures and certain things you automatically start rejecting and you're bucking against, like for instance, there's certain things where I've said, even if I'm not an Israelite, this is the Lord's will, and whatever his will is going to be done regardless of how I feel about it. But if you're one of those people who you don't want to accept anything it's saying and you're trying to twist it, more than likely you're not the people. Fuzz, you're going to say something?
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I would say definitely check into that. Any questions that you have, we're probably going to do a part 2 on, was it Friday? I think Friday night we'll do a part 2. And so make sure to get all of your questions that you have. Wow, thank you. I will read that tonight. And yeah, Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68. Read through those curses. Definitely. And I would say also on top of reading through those curses, I'd say pray about it. Always pray. I know he says that there's a scripture that says he doesn't hear the prayers of sinners, but if you are in ignorance to some of the sins you have, the Father and the Spirit will guide you. If you are one of the children. And so I also feel like if you're called to listen to this message at all, then it might be a very strong possibility you might be one of the people. Or you might be given a purpose. Because remember, it says in there, if you bless Israel, you'll be blessed. If you curse Israel, you'll be cursed also. So all that needs to be thought about. It says, I meant like historical and biblical study sources, like about the Moors. There's a bunch of sources. Fuzz, what would you say to recommend to her?
I'm not really sure myself. You would be the one that would know more than me.
Well, this is what we'll do. On Friday, come back, or if you're not able to make it Friday, put comments in here after the video or any of the other ones, because I will check the videos and I do respond back to comments. And drop any kind of questions you have in there. I will respond to those because it kind of helps to know which nation your family descends from. If it's Spain, I know a little bit about the history of Spain, so we can dig into that. If it's Britain, then I have different sources there. I mean, for instance, a lot of people don't know that the original Celts. There's a book called Black Celts, where it shows that the Irish, which moved into the area, actually pushed out the Black inhabitants who were there. Here, let me pull this up real quick. I don't know if you guys have heard of Cheddar Man. Cheddar Man is the original European. This was the first man in the UK. So let me show this. This is what they say he looked like. So I imagine that him and his descendants eventually, got absorbed into the European population. So if that's what Cheddar Man looked like, that's the UK area. There's a possibility that some people descended from all the way back to Cheddar Man, which Cheddar Man, I'm not exactly sure where his lineage comes from, but that's what I mean. There are different people which you may or may not be. Let me pull up another one. The Etruscans. This would be the you guys heard of the place called Tuscany? This would be the Etruscans. Don't worry, we're almost out of here, folks. All right, you guys see this? This is literally sending you to. Okay, yeah. Why don't you just send me there? It's doing a crazy mess. Okay, close that then. You see the people? Tuscany, Italy, Central Italy, and Tuscany. This is how the people painted them on the walls. What's another one? Oh, Minoans. We put this up here too. The Minoans. You see these people? These are the Minoans, the original Greeks, before the Macedonians came in and pushed them out. So, with all that said, oh yeah, I'll show you this too. Guys, see this? That look familiar? Remember those columns that we showed when we showed Edom? All right, so I guess on that note, we will wrap it up there. But yeah, any kind of questions anybody has, drop them into the comment section. I definitely do advise watching more of the different videos. The part 1 through 7. Now, granted, I think 3 is kind of way out of order and you might have to search up, but the Indo-Europeans 1 through 7, it'll give a good understanding of Indo-Europeans in general. But any kind of questions that you guys have outside of that, or anything more specific. I mean, I could even show you Russian iconoclasm that show you that there was a black population who ruled Russia for a time period. And I mean, I can literally show you that in every European nation that at a time period there was black rulership. And so some of those people were slaughtered, some of those people were pushed out, just like in Spain, where a lot of those were pushed out into Morocco and other parts of Africa. But yeah, I will leave it there. I know it's super late for my brother Fuzz over there and late for anybody who's on the East Coast or further. So with that said, we will close it out. You got anything you want to add, Fuzz?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. With that said, we give all honor and glory to our Heavenly Father Yahweh. We do so in the name of His Son Yahweh Shai. Call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And finish with a Kwam Yasharallah.